How's it going, space friends? Now in this video we're gonna take a look at a PvE fit for the Rook, which is a Caldari combat recon ship, and it can only be used on Omega accounts, so sorry Alpha Bros, you're gonna have to upgrade your account to use this ship. And one really nice thing about the Rook is that if we look at the show info window here, it has a roll bonus that says it cannot be detected by directional scanners, and that is really useful if you're in for example, wormhole space or low sec where you need to be a bit stealthy. It does help out there a lot. And but one thing, for example, if you're in wormhole space, you're probably gonna want to deploy a mobile tractor unit to tractor in all the wrecks and get the loot from them, because that's where you get most of your ISK. And when you deploy the mobile tractor unit, that will be visible on the directional scanner, so that increases your visibility a bit. But if you launch it, for example, after the first or second wave, then that decreases the time it's on the field. So and it should still be able to tractor in all the wrecks, or you don't have to wait for a long time anyway, because there aren't that many wrecks that it has to tractor in. So that's something to keep in mind if you're doing wormhole sites, and I recommend this for class 2 wormhole sites, and some of the like easier class 3 wormhole sites it may also be able to do. If you have good skills and you know how to pilot it well, then you can maybe do sites there as well. And then I also recommend it for low sec, like for example DED 5 out of 10 hunting, but I recommend sticking to Guristas and Serpentis space, because this does get a kinetic damage bonus to its missiles. So if you're doing Sanche sites or Angel sites, then you're going to be missing out on a lot of DPS. Basically. So let's take a look here at the price. It's about 392 mil or so, maybe 380 in Cheetah. So it's around the same price range as a Stratios, but cheaper than a strategic cruiser like a Loki or Tengu. However, if you're doing mostly class 2 sites, then you may want to consider using a combat battle cruiser, especially if you have lower skill points. If you're an alpha especially, then you may then you can't use this ship, but you have to use a combat battle cruiser, like for example a Drake or a Cyclone. They can do C2 sites as well, and they're about 100 mil or so. Then you can also use a Myrmidon to do C2 sites, and also some of the like easier C3 sites are doable in a Myrmidon with the triple reps. You need a specific fit for that, and pretty good skill points as well for you to be able to do that. So yeah, then let's take a look at the fit here. Now, one drawback with the Rook, which is really a bummer, is that it doesn't have a utility high slot. So if you're going solo into a wormhole, then you may want to have a mobile depot and a core probe launcher and some core scanner probes in there as well. And the same thing goes for DED hunting in low sec. I'm not sure if you need to scan down to 5 out of 10s, or I think you can do like Guristas dens. I think they escalate to a 5 out of 10. I'm not 100% sure, but I've seen this fit being used for 5 out of 10s in low sec. So well, not exactly this fit, but something very similar. But basically we have no utility high slot, and we have 5 of these heavy assault missile launchers Tech 2 here in the high slots. And as you can see, I have the Javelin ammo loaded. It has a better range than the Rage ammo, and it also applies better damage to frigates than the Rage ammo. So I usually keep this equipped at first, because typically in the first wave there's more frigates and destroyers and that kind of stuff, more smaller stuff basically. So that applies a lot better damage to those. But if we simulate the fit here and we change the ammo, like now it's 409 DPS, but if we switch to Rage, then it's about 635 DPS. That's including the 5 light drones that this ship can have deployed as well. But the range is also a bit lower at 24 kilometers, but that's still not too bad. Not too bad for heavy assault missile launchers, in my opinion. But basically, I would also recommend to be a bit vigilant when you launch the light drones, because they can die really quickly when the aggro switches to them, because you don't get like any drone hit point bonus or anything like that. So they don't have a lot of hit points, and I did actually lose one drone when I was doing a C2 site, so keep that in mind. And then we have Here on the mid slots we have a 10 MN Afterburner Tech 2. We get about 588 meters per second, so it's not the fastest ship in the game, but it does increase your speed tank quite a bit, and that helps especially against cruisers and higher. It reduces their damage application, and the battleships can even miss your ship entirely with their guns, so I recommend keeping the Afterburner going at all times. Then we have a shield boost amplifier. Tech 2 increases your shield boost amount. Then we have a Multispectrum shield hardener Tech 2 that increases your resistances and your effective hit points in terms of what you rep. And then we have a Pithum B-type EM shield amplifier, which plugs the EM hole a bit, not completely, but it does increase the EM resistances quite a bit. And then we have a Pithum C-type shield booster, medium shield booster. Now I couldn't use the large one because it doesn't have enough power grid or capacitor for using a large one, so we have to go with the C-type medium shield booster there. And then we have a large compact cap battery, which makes our fit cap stable at 61.2%, which means that we can also go into sites where the NPCs new to your ship, use energy neutralizers on you, so you won't run out of cap completely in those sites either. And then we have a shield boost amplifier, a second one there as well. In the low slots we have 3 of these ballistic control systems Tech 2, that's just to increase your DPS on the missiles there. And then we have a medium core defense operational solidifier rig, which basically makes your shield booster rep a bit faster, so your EHP per second repping power goes up. And then we have a medium semiconductor memory cell rig as well, which increases your capacitor amount. It's a bit like I think it's a bit like a cap battery except for your rigs. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the fit there. And basically the tactic that you want to use with this ship is to orbit the NPCs that you're engaging at about between 15 and 20 kilometers. That way you can hit them for sure. And keep your Afterburner on at all times, and shield booster and the hardener on as well. You should be able to keep it on, all of that stuff on, and then you just chew through the enemies one at a time basically. And yeah, that's basically it. And I did a perimeter checkpoint in a class 2 wormhole with this one. We're gonna take a look at that, so stay tuned for that next.
Warp drive active.
If you're interested in exploration, mining, and combat, I have a small corporation called Voyager Syndicate that focuses on those aspects of the game. We are a casual bunch of players that base out of high-sec and organize fleets into wormhole space for fun and profit. We may venture into nullsec later as well. Check us out at voyagersyndicate.blogspot.com and join our in-game channel Voyager Syndicate as well. Fly safe or dangerous, whichever you prefer.